Hi guys, welcome to day 27. So I am so excited that you guys are here, and we are going to jump right into some of the weirder symptoms that we go through, and I don't really have too much advice on them in Remedies. So this one we're just going to be talking about some of the different symptoms that we really don't talk about much. And then some of the ones that the community actually had reminded me of or just brought to my attention that I didn't think about. So let's get started. So if you have been watching the vlogs from the beginning, you know that we experience well over 250 symptoms, or at least that's how many that are linked to fibromyalgia patients themselves. And there's just so many. Like, I remember reading through that list of over 250 symptoms, and I didn't even think of some of them actually being symptoms of fibro, or at least recorded with fibromyalgia patients. So I wanted to break down just a couple of the ones that seem the most common amongst us that we don't really talk about, and then go through just some ones that we just don't even think about too, because there's so many of them. A couple of the ones that really get me, at least, and I still have trouble like comprehending them, and even my doctor's like, well, there's not too much we can do about these couple symptoms. They're part of your chronic pain and your chronic illness. One of them being phantom itch. So we will randomly get itchy in the weirdest possible places. And it happens when we get stressed out throughout the day at random. It's almost like nerve misfires, which is another one. We get random nerve twitches and misfires, but we just get super itchy sometimes. And there's nothing there. There's no bumps, no mosquito bites, no nothing. And we just start getting super itchy, or we start getting this really weird muscle twitch. Speaking of phantom itch, we get weird muscle twitches throughout the day, and it's just so weird. Or random sharp pains, like I got one in my finger yesterday, just out of nowhere, random nerve misfires. And another one which really kills me sometimes, because my love language is the physical touch and gift giving. But with the physical touch, there are some times where I can't even be touched. And there's sometimes I can't even, like, having clothes on my body physically hurts me. Like, you could come up and touch my arm to let me know, like, that you're there, or to get my attention, and it'll physically hurt. And I'm not the only one that experiences this, and we may not even think about it. We may just think, oh, it's a flare-up, but it's a symptom. So if, like, you touch me the wrong way, or touch me in certain spots, or even tickle me, it hurts me. Like, tickling is zero fun to us. It's zero fun to me. It physically hurts because the physical touch hurts. Like, our clothes hurt some days. It's almost like we have this sunburn that just won't go away. And as soon as something touches it, because the sunburn's all over our body at this point, it hurts and aches and itches and random misfires, and it all links together. Loss of balance is one. I'm going to use me as an example. Loss of balance, loss of muscular control. I just hit my head in a pool yesterday. Pretty bad. No concussion, thank God. But I lost my balance when I went underwater, and I hit my head on the pool floor, and it was very scary. But it didn't hurt like I think it should, but then again, I don't have a lot of feeling in my forehead. Some of you have noticed the scar that I have up there. That's from a long story. But like, we lose our balance. I will trip over nothing. There will be nothing in the way, and I will trip. I got this. Literally will trip over nothing. There are some times where it's almost like vertigo symptoms. When I get up too quickly, I immediately get dizzy. I have blacked out before because of it. And it's very scary because they can't find anything really to link to it. And I'm not diagnosed with vertigo. They don't feel I have it. Clothes. So there are some of us that cannot stand certain textures of clothes, and we all have one that we can't stand. So for me, it is jeans. Jeans, cargo pants. If they are not yoga pants, I physically can't wear them. I don't really like even sweatpants. I love the spandex cotton material. And that's like the only piece of tight clothing I ever wear. I hate tight clothing. There's a lot of us that even agreed on a post I made that we can't stand tight clothing. We can't stand jeans and cargo pants. We have a hard time with dress pants. So thank God there's a company that invented dress pants that are made out of yoga pant material. We can't stand it. Some people can't even stand cotton. They can't wear anything that's 100% cotton. They like the tech material. And it's different for every single person. And it's really weird to all of us that experience it. Sensitivity to light and sound. So fibromyalgia actually causes extreme response to stimuli. So bright lights. There are times if I'm doing a lot of highway driving, I actually bought polarizing sunglasses on purpose because I can see very, very clearly at night, but I don't have to deal with headlights. Sound is one of them too. For me, I have the opposite. A lot of people don't like loud noises and loud sounds. I'm like that most of the time, but I was a concert photographer for years. So I'm used to loud sounds. Well, I'm deaf as a post, I swear. So if you ever hear me yelling in the video, it's because I can't really always tell how loud I'm talking. I do have hearing loss, by the way. But for me, it's very high-pitched sounds, certain notes in music, because I absolutely love music for being a concert photographer. I can't stand, and it hurts me. I had my nanny kid one day, he had a flashlight in his hand, was just playing around, he's a toddler, and he shined the light in my eyes, and it took almost 5 minutes for me to get my vision back perfectly clear. My body just doesn't register all of that. Same with like reaction times for us as well. Our reaction time is slower. We have brain fog. We have trouble concentrating on multiple things at once. Nobody's a great multitasker, so if they say it, they're trying to be. I say it too. But I physically and mentally cannot handle multitasking and more than one or two things going on at once, or my brain goes into this overload and almost feels like it's going to explode out of my body. It's just that the external stimuli, like it's got to be very clear, very calming, or we sometimes have very chaotic responses and sometimes we don't respond properly because of it. We have extreme sensitivity to temperatures. We don't like cold. But we also have a hard time with extreme heat. So like for me, if it's below 70 degrees, I'm in pain a lot of the time. Like cold physically hurts me to the point where it shouldn't, whereas you could probably set me on fire and I'd be perfectly content. My showers are like extremely hot to the point where I can only take about 10 to 15 minute showers because the temperature's turned all the way up. But we have also with heat, we also have random sweating. So it could be cold outside and we'll randomly sweat. It could be hot outside and we're going to sweat, but at least we look normal at that point, as a friend of mine put it, who also has fibro. But it's caused because of a dysfunction in a part of our brain that controls all of our body temperatures, the hypothalamus. Since our brain doesn't communicate properly with the rest of our body, and especially if we're not getting chiropractic care like we should, it's not going to transpire everything correctly as well. So, and since our brain is so locked into pain and different things that aren't normal to everyone else around us, our body responds usually the opposite of the way it should, or it responds very strangely and can appear strange to other people, whereas to us, it's just a normality of what we're going through. Now, I know I've mentioned brain fog in a lot of my previous vlogs, and that being one of the main symptoms of fibro patients. We have a lot of memory issues, but with that brain fog, it can start affecting our speech. So I've noticed in some of my vlogs when I've gone back to watch them, that I have either talked extremely slow or extremely fast. I have a hard time when I'm trying to remember something, to remind myself that you can't talk super fast. And I've noticed too that the sound doesn't keep up with my lips, or my lips don't keep up with the sound. Thought it was an editing issue, but I think it's just the way that I talk. If we ever talk fast, it's literally because we're trying to get the thought out before it literally disappears, because that's literally what it is. We're not just trying to get like a point across or anything like that. We will literally forget what we're about to say. And that's why my videos are so chopped up. I can't remember everything I'm supposed to say, but if I don't say it, I'm going to forget it. Now, this is a symptom we don't really think of being associated with fibromyalgia, but when I brought it up to my doctor, she consulted with her colleague and discovered that other fibromyalgia patients have them too. And they're lymphomas. They're not cancerous, anything like that. They're just little fatty lumps under the skin that can appear either like hard or you feel a bump. I have 4 of them to be exact as of right now. And I got very concerned when I found them, since cancer does run in my family. So I immediately went to the doctor, went through tests, and went back to my fibromyalgia specialist. And that's when she discovered, and we discovered, that that is actually a symptom that's been associated with fibromyalgia patients that they're finding. So that's why I wanted to bring that one up, because it's something that my doctor didn't even really think of being a direct link to fibro, but many patients with fibromyalgia actually have them. I did also want to throw in some information too for you guys that's about fibromyalgia. So fibromyalgia is, from what doctors are understanding, not a very progressive disease. It does get worse, it seems like, with age. It does get worse as it goes down the line. But the symptoms of like the pain and the brain fog get worse. It's the symptoms that get worse, not the disease itself. There are 3 stages from what I have been learning and researching and talking to researchers about: localized, regional, and then full body. All of us usually have different stages. All of us are usually have different areas of the body. A lot of us either sit in the legs or the upper body. Some of us have full body. Some of us only get full body with flare-ups. And also, not all of us have every single symptom of fibro. So keep that in mind too. All right, guys, tomorrow's day 28. We only have a couple more videos left of this social media challenge. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about being a student with fibromyalgia. I felt it was fitting. As some of us, like a few of my friends and I, were diagnosed with fibromyalgia while we were a student. So we decided to all put our heads together over the last couple weeks and try to give you guys some helpful tips for those of you that are younger, that are students, or like assistants. I guess this would apply to you as well. So we're going to give you guys some helpful tips. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I am so excited. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me through all of these videos, and through the technical issues. I will see you guys tomorrow.